So this is my 1971 H1500, which I bought about 10 years ago. I restored it about 6 or 7 years ago. And one thing I did at the time was buy these aftermarket shocks, which are sort of copies of the original. And they're not bad. Don't get me wrong, they work okay. They're damp or fine. They're the right length. But they are a bit skinny compared to the originals. So this is the original Kawasaki shock. You can see the way the close coils are at the bottom, less of than the pattern ones, and they're not as chunky. They're skinnier shock. They look as though they should be on a 350 or even a 250. But it does say in the advert, I think, fits 250, 350, 400 and 500. So that gives you a clue. So anyway, I've decided I'm going to try and take these apart and get the springs re-chromed. The bottom of the shocks the chrome is pretty good. It's fine actually. The tops are aluminium, so they can be polished. But that was a bit odd. I was looking on YouTube trying to find a video on how to get them apart, because they got this roll pin just here, which I've not actually seen before. So I don't know whether that was just stopping the nut, well, the top from coming undone, or whether there was a lock nut underneath, but you can't see because it's got this grey plastic shroud over it. So I couldn't actually see what was going on. Anyway, I've got one apart, and I'm going to show you how you get the other one apart. And the difference is, to a lot of shocks, is like I said, this roll pin. You can see I've got it apart, and you can see the hole for the roll pin. There it is. And there's the the grey plastic cover, which well, probably goes that way around, and it covers all this up, so you can't see what's happening underneath. But there is a lock nut underneath, as you can see. And then the top just screws on like so, and then the roll pin obviously goes through the hole like so. In fact, you can sort of see through it. That'll go through there and locate this, so that locks to this, so this can't come undone. But I don't know why they went to that extreme when you got the lock nut, and a lot of other shocks don't have this roll pin. Anyway, I will now demonstrate how I got them apart. So if I can get these springs re-chromed, the rest of it is in really good nick, and the damping is perfect. In fact, the damper rod itself, you know, these can get pitted and leak, obviously. It's a bit difficult to show you while I'm holding the camera, but they're pulling it up and down, and the damping is absolutely spot on, no problem at all. Even the bumper rubber looks all right, considering they're 50 years old, and the chrome's fine, really. This bit I cleaned up, which I just used a bit of sandpaper, just because they get all black and horrible, as you probably know. You can see on this one, but that comes up all right. Anyway, I'll show you how to get them apart. So all I plan on doing is using a couple of cable ties to compress this spring. It's a bit fiddly. There are other ways of doing it. You can use ratchet straps, and there's probably even a proper compressor tool. But if you're like me and you haven't got everything in your shed, these cable ties are quite robust, actually quite thick. Yeah, they did the job on the other one, so I'll show you how to do it on this one. So the first thing I did was to get the cable ties, basically just sliding it down like so underneath the springs, like that, and then just pull it up here. like that. So it's like that. And then join it to another one. Only, well, if you've got real long cable ties, you don't need to join it, of course. It's just because these are only that length. So that goes into there, like so. So hold that in there for a second. And then I should do the same, exactly the same the other side. I'll come back to that. So cable ties are in place. What I've done here, I've just popped the screwdriver in there. It's quite easy to do, just prized it in a bit. Prized it a bit. Now it needs to go on the top between there and there, sort of thing. Obviously not under there, because this, as you can see, is shaped like that. And obviously if you get it underneath, you could buckle the edge of this as a screwdriver. So it's got to be on the top part. Anyway, so that's got that started. And then what I shall do then is get a slightly bigger screwdriver in there. I can't hold the camera, so I'll just pop the camera down here. Having got it started, and then like that, slightly bigger screwdriver, like that, and then pop a nut to hold it, like so. And then I should start pulling these tighter. Like that. Spin that round. It's handy, obviously, to have everything at hand, the nuts, the screwdrivers. You don't want to be doing all this and you ain't got everything at hand. Goes in now. Right, so now I'm going to take the roll pin out, which I could have done before, actually, before I started doing this, but it doesn't really matter, make it either way. So what I'm doing is heating this up, because the top part's aluminium, which will expand nicely, and the rest of it's steel, so, well, the roll pin is steel. I'm just going to warm the top up. Yeah, so if you did do it this way, you don't want these straps too near the top, because they could get hot and burn through, obviously. So got it coupled down. It only needs to be warmed up enough to knock the roll pin out, which came out quite easily on the other one with a bit of heat. Should do it. And I have a decent little punch here, this proper tool for the job, which you might not have, but I don't think anything else will work, to be honest. So it seems like a proper punch is the only thing to use. Anyway, that should just knock out of there. Which it does. Just get the camera and show you. It's just starting to come out. You can see it there. So, just in there like so, and it knocks it out. Put the camera back here. Careful not to lose it. Here it comes, there it goes. and I've lost it. No, I can see it. I just need to get a magnet. So there it is on the magnet. So it's just just a normal roll pin. You can see that. So that's out. So that's good. Put that down there. So if you didn't take the roll pin out, it obviously it locks the damper to the top, so it's impossible to undo it. It'll always turn the damper at the same time. So it needs to come out. I probably have said that already. Roll pin out. I'm getting a gap now. This is 24mm lock nut underneath. Pull that down a bit tighter. So yeah, I've got a nice gap there now, and you can see the nut down there. All I've got to do is put my 24mm spanner on it, put some through the eye and undo it. 24mm spanner in here. Like so. Did have my bar. Cracked too. There she goes. It's going. Success. Top comes off. Pulls out. And that's it. Spring's still compressed. As you can see, that's pretty grotty, so I'm going to clean that up like I did the other one, which came up really good actually. So as you can see, so there you go. That's how they come apart. One last thing I will say, this is only any good if you're going to replace the spring, because if the damper rod's damaged, pitted, leaking oil, or has no damping like this, it should be hard to pull up and push down like so, which it proves the damping is still working, because these dampers don't come apart. Basically, it's pinned over at the top there. There's nothing you can do with them if they're sort of sealed for life, as it were. So there might be somebody who can do something with them, but I don't know of it. This is only if you're going to replace the spring. And that's it. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it was helpful. Subscribe if you like. I should be doing some more. Thanks.